Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be speaking about a sustained attitude. A sustained attitude. Now, what is a sustained attitude? Basically, a sustained attitude is a form of is a character that we have developed out of repetition, out of consistency, out of persistence. Right? It's an attitude that we have always had within ourselves. So most times the children learn from the parents, right? And so the children learning from the parents, when they learn from the parents, they learn the characters of the parents. And so whatever the parents do, they will do too. So even if you can see that, oh, you hear that the son didn't like the father, blah blah blah, most times you hear that they grow up to become just like their father. So what that basically means is that we learn our characters or our attitudes subconsciously from the people who we are trying to impress. So if you have your friends, you can also learn your character from your friends. You can have the people who you look up to. You can learn your character from them too. All these things are the things that we use to build our character. Now, in terms of a sustained attitude, we can only reap the results of a particular attitude when we have that attitude. For example, Serena Williams has the attitude of the best female tennis player. She had to develop that attitude by her consistent practice and her view of being the best, because she obviously had to desire to be the best for her to be the best, right? It's the same thing with every other sports star or any person doing the best in their field. They had to have a desire to be great, and in that aspect, so they had to sustain an attitude consistent with who they wanted to be. Now, so an attitude is not something you can physically hold, but it's something that defines the steps that you take. It defines the way that you speak. It defines the actions you take. Every single thing that I mentioned has to do with the attitude. So when you have the attitude, automatically your whole view and your whole trajectory changes automatically because you have the attitude. But an attitude is not something you can physically hold, but yet it defines your movement, it defines where you're going to, it defines, who you are basically. So in whatever thing that we want to develop, all we have to do is develop the attitude. You cannot buy an attitude. It's like buying an attitude is something that anybody can do. The poor person can become rich simply by having the attitude of the wealthy. So whenever he's living his life, he's finding ways to become better, he's finding ways to make money. That is him having a rich attitude, a rich mindset. And a mindset attitude, same thing. Mindset attitude, same thing. So having a rich mindset or a rich attitude, it will influence the way he speaks with people, to influence the way he interacts, like the value he's thinking of adding more value. He's more value oriented now because he understands the way wealth or money or riches work. You understand? So it's the same thing for anything. An attitude is something that anybody can have, but you have to sustain the attitude. That's why our topic for today is a sustained attitude. You have to sustain the attitude. It has to be something that is now your natural state of mind, your natural mindset, your natural state of consciousness. It has to be something that is natural to you now because that's who you are. You understand? So it's very important, very important, very important that you understand that all you have to do is sustain the attitude consistent with who you desire to be. Some of you may not desire to be wealthy, some of you may be desire to be, let's say, more confident in your work. You may be desire to be more competent in whatever it is you're doing. Whatever it is you're doing, make sure that you have the attitude consistent with who you desire to be and sustain the attitude. Whatever you don't sustain, you cannot attain, and you can't even retain. Whatever you don't sustain, you can't attain, and you don't retain. So sustaining it is the strong power there. Sustaining it is the power. You understand? Because that's who you are naturally. So it's a sustained attitude. And it becomes a sustained attitude when you do it over and over and over again. So that's what I have to say for you guys today. Remember, a sustained attitude is the key. Have the attitude consistent with who you desire to be, and consistently persist in that attitude, and everything will happen cleanly for you. I did that for